To order the Morton Grove Public Library Board of Trustee, November 10, 2016, board meeting. We could stand and just have the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just leave your votes. If we could call the roll.
Albers,
Here.
Berg,
Here.
Calamag,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Here.
Gray here, Hill.
Here.
Okay, Novak.
Yes.
All righty. We'll need a motion to approve the board meeting minutes of October 13, 2016. Second.
Before that, we have to give 3 cheers for the Cubs.
Oh, that's right. We have nothing.
One thing positive this year, basically.
Do we do, I will remember one day, do we do a roll call for the minutes, or is it just a?
No, you don't need a roll.
We can just call this one down. So any questions, comments, or concerns? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? All right. The approval of the minutes of the special board meeting of October 13, 2016. Motion approved.
I'll make the motion to approve.
And a second.
I'll second.
Questions, comments, or concerns? If none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right. Public comments on agenda items. Kind of light on public, so we'll go right on to the president's report. Yay, Cubs! How's that? That's all I have. If anyone else wants to chime in.
3 cheers.
3 cheers, hip hip hooray, huh? All right.
Let's sign them all back.
Yeah, I know. Somehow they will goof that team up. but
They will.
Time will tell.
Money takes its toll.
It does. Chicago's got a reputation for breaking up a good team. So,
Is gone.
yeah.
And we'll-
So committee reports, finance.
Everything looks good. If you'll notice on the cash statement, we just went over this, that nothing's been, moved yet, as of yet. But that anything that will come in will go into that Morton Grove operating, like executing taxes or anything like that. But it hasn't been moved yet. And the cash, no, the income statement, everything's pretty good. We hope they have money left over. Let's put in the reserve, we will.
That check you just got.
Awesome. That was the best surprise.
Yeah.
And let's see, what's the other one there? Register, anybody have any questions on that? Before you do, if you'll notice that check number 39373, it's not on there, which is on the second page on the front. It's right here because this was left in the printer when they printed up this report, so it has to be voided, but it hasn't, it's not on here because it's not really anything that went, had any intentions of going anywhere. So I have it right here. So just
You
give
give it to Blanche.
it back to Blanche, because she has to keep it. So other than that, everything is good. Any questions?
I did want to also point out that as we switched the accounts, one of the things that the auditor had said that we needed to do to change the operating account was to get a collateralized letter for the operating account, the big one, and we do have that here. So this is on file here at the library, and then when we're actually audited, the auditor will contact the bank for this. So we did get this, that means we're covered up to $2 million in this account, and then our smaller accounts have the regular FDIC insurance coverage. So I just wanted to let you consider that.
All right. Any other questions, concerns, comments on the treasurer's report? If not, could I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
No further questions, comments, or concerns? Could you call the roll on that one?
Bird,
Yes.
Calamay,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Gray, yes, Novak,
Yes.
Albert.
Yes. So no facilities and no policy this month. Do we want to move Mr. Hessen into this spot? Save a little time?
It's up to
I
you guys.
think it'd be a good idea.
Yeah, Dave, you wanna, we'll save you a little time and have you do your thing now.
All right. Does that work for you
Probably
guys?
wanna move in the agenda, just for-
So, okay, we're moving, 8A, up ahead of the staff reports.
All right. So, in front of you guys is the proposal we got from MG Electric. They actually had proposed two different generators for us on here. MG Electric was involved in the remodel on the main floor. They helped me with the lights in here, and they know our building really well.
We have a monthly, we have a maintenance contract with them as well. Right.
No, not like an official one.
But they regularly do some maintenance.
I built up a really good relationship with them, where they'll come out and help me out when I need help, so to speak. So the two different generators are fairly similar, a little bit of a difference in price. Collar is probably the most known of the generators, if you're familiar with generators at all. And then Generac is an equally good one. And here we're looking at a little bit difference in the available kilowatts, amps, stuff like that. I think it's better that we go with slightly, we maximize our usage out of it. So, the other thing is, that we never had really was a transfer switch here.
An automatic transfer
Yeah.
switch? Really?
Right.
So you had to go down there and throw it?
That's how.
In the dark.
Yeah.
So, and then the other, and I'm proposing for this one to go upstairs into the garage, because we're also wanting this generator to be outside along the back wall here.
And that is included in all of these prices, so we've actually, I think Dave has put these in order of.
Actually, I forgot to bring you like.
That's fine, so what you're seeing is MG Electric, which is really our recommendation.
Right.
I did mention in my report that we received, once we issued the RFP, we received 3 bids, ranging from the lowest from MG Electric for $44,000 for the Generac, up to
83,000.
Why was that other one so high?
We don't know.
I could
We've
not,
reviewed them, and basically it's the same exact
Yeah.
thing. So some of that could be labor, we're not sure what the
Okay.
difference is, but,
Awfully
So-
suspicious.
so this one came in the lowest, and then the mid one was from a company called Lions. Yes.
yeah.
And then they were 53.9. And so our recommendation, Dave and I talked about this, was to go with either one of the MG Electric. I think, and I wanted Dave here in case you had some more technical questions about why we should go with one that's got a higher wattage or whatever.
Was there anything on that 83 one that stood out as the workings of this?
No,
If I look at this as a Greek to
no, there's nothing
Do you have
stood
to
out,
want to see them?
in my mind that made me go, wow, this one's like coated in gold.
Any
And
idea why?
I think
Double.
my guess is the labor and who their subcontractors are gonna be using is going to cause
They
it
must
to.
not have very much business.
So we're gonna make copies so that you can each review them if you'd like.
I don't have an answer, I don't think it'll have a business or not. but,
Yeah, it is, wow.
The other
So
one
you-
is the $83,000 one. It was a generator that Dave had said he had not heard of.
Yeah,
So we're making copies so you can look at the proposals yourselves.
This
This-
30 kilowatt generator is, I'm sure, enough.
it's doubling the size of the one we currently have.
That's enough. And really, with a generator, I'm thinking we want it to be able to work the sump pumps
Right?
and keep the heat going so the pipes don't freeze.
So this generator affects, we should tell them what that generator affects.
So the sump pumps behind the children's bathrooms.
Mhm.
Then there's also sump pumps behind the kitchen and the staff
Yeah,
area.
you got some big ones there too.
Right. There's a sump pump in the elevator pit,
Okay.
which is also on there. You know, the fire alarm runs to it.
Yeah.
The,
Fire
you know, the burglar alarm runs to it. You know, the furnaces, because we wanna keep those running. Like I
Yeah.
said, if it's the winter, we don't want.
That's right, you don't want any pipes.
It's
to
not
burst.
really meant to keep us open.
It's not
It's
meant
not
to
meant
keep
to
us
It's
keep
meant
us-
just
yeah,
to
it's meant
keep
to
things
keep
from
things-
failing should
Yeah,
there be a long.
exactly.
from causing
So
more damage
More
than.
damage.
And you're already saying it's generating almost twice as much as the previous.
Right.
Next question, the Kohler, is that the same one that does all the plumbing company up in Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
company.
Same company.
Yeah.
Generac, is that an American company?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, so they're both made in America?
yeah.
I'm just saying, I believe we,
I got a
That
Kohler
would be a
backup,
consideration.
or, I got a Generac backup at my house.
And Kohler was our existing one.
yeah.
And which of the two are you thinking?
I'm more familiar with the Kohler, and I think with the extra, you know, I mean, it does a little extra as far as, you know, if we wanna add stuff down in the future to it, we're
So
gonna have
there's
the
a little room
capability.
for
There's a little bit of room for more
So
expansion.
if we get something that's vital to keep going,
Right.
if we start treating patients and stuff that are in ICU.
You know, I mean, if we become.
That's where my mind goes, I can't help it. I have a medical mind.
It's just another question, for the building across the street, is there any backup in there or not?
Well,
There's nothing,
nothing in there.
Pipes, water?
It's
there
a
could,
dry
I mean,
system.
I mean, the water pipes, there's not like a sprinkler system in there like
Not
that, you
yet.
know, not yet. Yeah, I mean, there's just not, you know, plus the, yeah, no, I mean, and there's no gas line in that building either. You know, it's all electric over there.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, so, you know,
that's why we don't have any.
depending on down the road what you guys decide to do with that building, then, you know, that could be another.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you don't have any sump pumps or anything either, so. you
Yeah,
know,
so
that-
they would be small, something just to keep the heat going.
Yeah,
How often have we had this thing kick on?
since I've been here,
Yeah,
we haven't because it's on its last legs.
Hasn't been working correctly. So we've had
But we
times
did.
that it should have
we've
kicked on
lost power, but,
and it
Right.
didn't,
Yeah.
and so that caused some problems.
yeah.
Yeah, but we've had instances over the past few years, several years, where.
So this one's gonna have an automatic transfer switch. Is it going to send us a message that it ran or it's running?
There will be a display on,
But it's not hooked up to the Wi-Fi and it's gonna send us a message saying, hey, we lost power and the unit kicked on.
not in this configuration, there may be a module we could add onto it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it or not, but,
Uh,
There are some, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we have to look at
Yeah.
our overall HVAC furnace situation,
Yeah.
before we did that. And that's not to say that we might not do that in the
Yeah.
future,
Right.
but.
I assume
Okay,
there's a
the
warranty.
Generac says a 5-year limited
there's
warranty.
warranty on it.
And the Kohler is a 1-year limited warranty on all systems and components. Now, this one just says a limited warranty.
Right.
1 year limited warranty.
The Generac is a 5-year, right? Am I reading this right? Please tell me if I'm not, because I,
Yeah, the
Yes, you
Kohler
are.
one says
The
you
Kohler
get
says
fi- 2 and 5 year extended warranties are also available.
Right.
And then that you have.
but this, the Generac has a 5. I don't know if that makes a difference. I mean,
And Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, but usually with these types of things, if they're gonna go bad, they usually do so within the first year.
Right.
Which is.
They'll do it at 5 years.
Or they'll do it, you know, like the glass, you know, the minute it's not.
Like the glass, yeah.
It'll go bad.
We're giving it 2 days.
Well, then it'll still be 2 days after, you mean?
You know, if we choose the Kohler, I would assume we would also put on a 5-year.
We could.
That would be, it would be,
If we choose to do that,
Reasonably
then
wise
probably
thing
what
to do.
what the
You
board
don't
would
need
want
it.
to do would be to.
I don't know.
They don't,
Do you know what the extra cost would be?
When
I
I go out my
don't, but I'm-
apartment,
I'm open to negotiating with them and not making it very easy on them.
It's very possible because should the board elect to go with Energy Electric, and Blanche is making copies of the other proposals so you can see those, that because we're already working with them and have had a very good, I think, working relationship with them, it's very possible we could include that. And we'll certainly approach our negotiations with them to do that.
I had a generator put on my house, smaller unit than this,
Right,
but
I should
they
hope
said,
so.
hey, we'll do a 5-year warranty for it if you wanna buy it today.
Yeah, and that would be my sense, that if we
Right,
will
so-
go to them and say, hey, here's our
I think
$50,000
they'll do
check.
that.
Yeah, but we wanted this.
You'd have to ask Kohler or
The installer.
the installer?
We can.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, you can't change Kohler's.
Right.
So MG Electric could do a warranty with us,
Mhm.
yeah, there's certain things that they.
Okay, I'm done.
No, I know, it's,
No.
I mean, it's a ton of money.
Will the Kohler automatically cycle once a week or so, just to let you know it's working?
On the automatic transfer, there's a whole test, cycle you can put it through every week. And so, you know, that way you're there verifying it, you're just not, you can't forget about it then.
So we actually test it.
Yes. I mean,
Mine tests
you-
every week, Friday at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I can set my watch by it.
Even after the time changes.
Well, we'll find out this week.
That's why he doesn't.
I haven't gotten to all my clocks yet.
Yeah.
I can't.
Some
reach
of mine
my
did
wall.
automatically and then others didn't, so I was like, all week going, what time is it?
I have no idea. I can't get to a couple of the clocks, so they just aren't getting changed.
We'll be right again in a few more months.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, it wasn't right before, I was waiting till the time changed to fix it.
So then so we're not gonna have a generator inside the building, you're gonna have this located outside the building?
Correct.
And it doesn't have problems with our weather, rusting, anything.
No, I mean, this is,
Or,
when we put the bid out, we said, we specified it was going to be outside and it had to be weather compliant.
okay, so all the winds and rain and everything don't.
They're made for the.
Yeah, they're made for, I mean, everywhere else I've ever worked, I've always had, this is the first building I've had where the generator's been inside.
So here's the
So,
two, Lions was the one that I believe was
And
53.
if we were going to try to have the
And
generator
was 80s.
put in that room again,
It wouldn't fit.
it would be very tight and it would cause a logistical nightmare trying to get it through the building in there, which would then substantially
So then-
increase cost.
Now, where are you planning on putting this again?
Okay, you know where the garage door is? When you're looking at the big garage door that opens,
Right,
to the right you have garbage cans and then you have an open spot before you get to the little AC unit in between there.
so it won't take up any parking?
It might push a couple spots back a little bit, but those are long spots. You know what I mean? So like when you pull in, you know, there's still enough room
You're
behind
still
you.
clearing.
So we'll just readjust, you know, the parking,
A nice big block to keep
Yes.
people from parking?
yeah, the nice concrete.
Okay,
And then as well, we requested that there be three concrete bollards put in front of it. So, which are basically, they stand about this tall and they're just solid concrete, so if, let's say someone jumps,
Protection.
oh,
They're gonna hit the
yes,
concrete,
that
not our
gas
generator.
instead of the brake.
yes.
That means a lot. I got an extra one of these, did somebody not get one?
That's the guy who
Or did
included
I?
his resume, maybe that's what we're paying for.
Well, I think you did the measurement. So on the two that we just gave you, the one from Lions, the cost there is on page 1 of that, right in the middle.
53.7.
It says total price is $53,700. And then you've got, when we set out the RFP, everyone bids on the same stuff. So this was their bid, and just the requirements that we had. And then for the courtesy electric, which neither Dave nor I had any experience working with, but they did bid Their cost is all the way at the end, on the final page, and it's $83,500. So. So we cannot figure out after reviewing these what that price increase is from, so.
What type of generator? I can't find what type of
They don't
generator
say.
is the Lions company. Yes. Is there a brand?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Remember if they included a brand or not.
I didn't find a brand on Lions or Courtesy.
Yeah,
Courtesy listed, I thought, a brand that we had not heard of, right?
Yeah, it's somewhere in
A
there.
Cummins. Courtesy was furnish and install a Cummins 30
Well,
kilowatt.
Cummins-
Oh, a Cummins
Cummins
is a
engine
diesel.
is good. They're out of,
Right. Oh, the other thing though
Columbus,
is that
Indiana.
they also suggested a diesel generator,
Yeah,
so, which we didn't want. But Lions, I don't know, so.
was Cummins the $83,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but diesel's built like that, it'll last forever.
Right.
Yeah, Cummins is a very good company, too. I mean, those are, I'm sure, and Kohler is, and I think.
Right, I mean, when you look at, I mean,
They all
this,
make
this, our
pretty
current
stuff.
generator is what, 40 years
At
old?
least 40 years
At
old,
least
as far as I
40
can
years
determine.
old, so, of course, everything is kind of built now with built-in obsolescence, so maybe, though generators still aren't anything, but everything else seems to be.
as I mentioned at the beginning, I definitely think natural gas is the way to go on our generator and not a diesel.
Well, I think so too. If they're just as good and the warranties are the same,
They'll start easier when it's cooled out.
cleaner, cheaper.
And you don't need to have a diesel tank to fill it up.
That's exactly right. You don't need a tank sitting around.
So I guess the decision comes down to generator or Kohler.
Oh, Dave, thanks, Kohler. I think it's worthwhile.
And you're comfortable with more Kohler than Generac, or does it matter?
I mean, my experience has been more with Kohler than Generac. I really haven't done anything with Generac. I mean, so I'm going off the spec sheet myself and,
It was also our understanding that Kohler gave us a little bit more flexibility,
Yeah,
should we
if
need
we
to
wanna
add
add
to it
stuff,
in
we
the
can,
future.
we have a little bit
Correct.
more room to add to the Kohler than we would if we.
How about noise issues with our neighbors?
I mean, right
I
now,
mean,
it's
To the
behind
alley,
Children's.
and then there's a
Yeah.
parking lot.
I mean, there's gonna be, encasing is, a little bit muffled in noise.
You know, generator is a temporary.
Yeah,
That's, I just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
mean, you're
anticipate.
gonna, if people wanna complain, they're
Yeah.
going to complain.
It's
Yeah.
only to make noise when you need it, correct?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, there'll be,
From-
it'll be joining a bunch of generators in the neighborhood.
And that might
Creating
just let them know
noise.
that your
And
taxes will
noise.
go up
The other-
if we can't install it in the outside because it would require rebuilding this library to make space. for
you
it.
can install them outside as long as it's a certain amount of feet setback from your property line, so.
It definitely is,
Oh, yeah.
because we go out to the alley and it's.
We go
out
to the alley,
To
isn't it?
the, out to the alley.
Did we talk to the village?
at least,
This yet?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's only 10 feet, something like that.
We would have to get the.
it's like,
permits.
it's six.
I know I gotta get the permits, but there is
Yeah,
a
I think it was
setback.
a lot.
6 feet.
Is it 6 feet?
All right, then we're cool.
We're very good.
So how about a motion to pick one of these?
I'll make a motion that we buy the Kohler generator
For how much
for
money?
$48,923. And
83
it doesn't have to be put in, don't have to put in the motion, but I think we will be behind you if you can negotiate a better
Yeah.
warranty on it. I'll behind it.
We'll do it.
Great.
Yes.
So we have a motion to purchase the Kohler 30 kilowatt for $48,923. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
And I did just want to point out that this will come out of next year's budget, not this year's.
All right.
We may have to give them a deposit that will come out of this, but because of the way that the auditor looks at things, there is a 6 to 8 week lead time, so this means it pushes us into 2017, which is fine, we budgeted for it, but just, so you may see some of the funds come out of this year when we're looking at our financials for the next couple months, but probably once the audit is complete, that will be adjusted to 2017. So just so you know. So,
No question, okay, if you would call the roll on this.
Callaway,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Gray, yes, Novak,
Yes.
Albers.
Yes,
Bird.
Yes.
congratulations.
thank you, Jay.
Sorry,
I can take them or whatever you want to do with them. And then we will,
I don't need a
I mean, it makes great fireplace reading.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Try to get rid of junk in my house.
I kept the.
I think I would keep the color one,
That.
just
You've got
to have extras.
I think there's.
Not me, but they should, might wanna keep a few extras.
Yeah.
You want me to take them? Okay, you got them all? No, I mean, I got my own copy, I just wanna make sure.
And I've got the originals too.
Very good.
Thanks.
Good night.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Back to, run on back to the agenda, our staff reports from our director, before your voice is totally.
I have nothing I want to add to the report, it's just, as you did read, we did receive a $27,000 check back from Lynn, which was a very, very nice surprise.
Yeah.
We put that back into the health insurance line, but certainly anything that's up over $100.
What was that from?
That was from, so week before last, I went to the annual Wellness Insurance Network, which is our broker for our health insurance. And it was just about open enrollment and if there was any rate increases or anything like that. And so very positive news, there was no rate increases for 2017. We got a couple of additional benefits, which was nice. But then because WIN had surplus of over $500,000, over $500,000, I believe it was, the WIN board, which is made up of library representatives from the member libraries, decided to abate some of that back to the member libraries. And so anyone that was there at that meeting, I walked out of there with a $27,000 check. I was really surprised.
Wow.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, well,
So if you were, I was glad I went. If I hadn't been there, they would have mailed it to us. But that was a nice
The way
surprise.
you said it, it could have been
Yeah.
construed like you
Yeah.
okay.
Well, it was a nice surprise, because I went and it was rainy, and it was icky, and it was, and I thought, but I'm gonna go, because they were talking about open enrollment, and I wanted to make sure there were no changes or anything in coverage. And then when they were talking about, oh, we evaded some money back, and I'm thinking, oh, $500 or something, and I open up my envelope, and oh my God.
It's a big check.
So,
Did you
So-
deposit it right away?
yeah, pretty much, I came back to
I
lunch,
would
I'm like,
have
look at what we
run
got.
right to the bank.
Yeah, so we.
It's like
we
5
put it in.
major
No, I just got a $300
Yeah, that was nice,
rebate on
so,
something and I run to the bank.
Yeah, so that was really nice, we did get that deposited, and like I said, it's right now, it was deposited into the bank and credited to the health insurance line, but certainly anything we don't spend at the end of the year, we can put into special reserve for, doing stuff in youth services or anything.
Or loan retirement.
But yeah, so that was a nice surprise, and
Yeah.
just, I don't know that that's something we'll get every year, but
Yeah.
this year it was, like I said, it's always nice when you can get some money back that's not expected, as opposed to, higher bill, which is usually what
Right.
happens. So I don't think I had anything else to add to that. unless anyone has
I just
questions.
heard, I worked last night at Niles Public Library, and a couple of the librarians here also, who work part-time here, work part-time there.
Mhm.
And so somebody was saying that they're really impressed with Ron, and, the new
Oh,
goodness.
Yeah, but everyone has been really happy. Chad might be able to speak to that. I don't know how much, I believe you went to the meeting with Ron and stuff, but I know I've had comments from several people that he's been super responsive. He's really brought a different perspective to a lot of our technology needs, and so I'm really looking forward to some of the things that we're gonna do in the future, and also it allows us to eliminate that payment, which was a fairly large payment to Sickich, over $15,000. Now we've got, someone has that
Because they can
expertise,
do that, yeah.
in-house, and so, he's really involved in other, technology, groups in libraries and knows a lot of other people, so he also brings, I think, a different perspective than we had gotten previously, so far it's working out really well, and he and I meet, fairly regularly, almost every week, and, he's pleased to be here as well. He feels like he fits right in and has been getting along great with staff, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Pass
so
that
that's
on to
pretty
him.
fast,
Yeah. Yeah, we've been really happy with him so far.
Terrific. All right. No more? And, corporate counsel is anything to share today?
Yeah, just what I said, I spoke with Frank, he's looking into a couple of things having to do with that sick time and then the minimum wage, and if that affects us and how that will affect us and that kind of thing, so. The Local Government Expense Control Act, I believe I mentioned last month, and it was the bill that was recently passed that they're calling the College of DuPage bill, because their board apparently spent a lot of money on entertainment, up to and including strippers, from what I understand.
Oh, I missed that.
We had one fellow there who was
Yeah.
rather liberal with his
So,
money.
I was hoping to bring a resolution, we do have to pass a resolution by,
Specific to the board.
specific to, well, it's specific to both employees and the board.
Yeah.
So I had sent something to Frank about a month and a half ago about this, and he apologized, it fell off of his radar, so he just got some things to me. He does think that we do need to pass a resolution, that's the cleanest and best way to do that, and in case anyone should question that. And he's got some sample things for me to work on. And then he also recommends that even though we do cover travel expenses for employees in the employee handbook, that because this particular act, it's a public act, I believe, applies to the board as well as the staff, that we should have a separate policy, because the board doesn't get the employee handbook because that doesn't pertain to you, but this particular resolution will. So he and I are going to talk a little bit more over the next month, and I should be bringing the resolution and a policy that will cover everyone, or cover the board in addition to the employees, to December. So I just wanted to bring it up to speed on that.
It makes me think a little bit. Basically, the COD was unethical.
Yeah.
Do we want to consider putting together an ethics policy for the,
We can, I
Board.
believe, I don't have my, do you guys have the
There's an
bylaws? I thought
ethics
there was an ethical
There is an
statement.
ethics policy in there.
In the
There's an ethics
bylaws.
It was
statement.
something basically provided to us, it was,
Yeah,
I don't
certainly we
remember
can look
exactly who.
at, and it might not be in there, because I believe it's a part of a,
No, it's part of the bylaw.
It's part
There
of
is
the
ethics,
it's under the
observe ethical
bylaws.
standards, and
It's
that's
the
the truth,
last page
integrity, and honor, and then it lists.
what it kind of
Boys
doesn't
into-
define. It tells you to be good,
I can't
but it
tell what it tells
doesn't
you.
tell you what makes you bad, so.
Right, and you can do that.
Maybe I'm over.
caution against that,
Yeah.
putting that in your bylaws, because then if you wanted to make any changes.
Oh, no, not in the
It could
bylaw, but
be-
in
it
the
could-
actual, you're a trustee, sign this ethics statement.
It could be part of the, what they call standing rules. It would be part of the standing rules as a further explanation that doesn't require board discussion over.
Well, just, you're a trustee, here's your.
I mean, that's something the board can do
Something
if you
about
wanted,
that.
say at an annual meeting, that you'd sign an annual ethics statement. and
Just a
just-
thought, I mean, if the state's
I
taking
can,
it.
I can find out what,
Maybe I'm a little overkill at
You're suspicious of us.
it. No, I'm just making sure the public's not suspicious of us.
it's not that it doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
it's not very common in library boards to have any kind of real ethical,
Yeah. Okay.
problems, though there are some, and mostly it has to do with kind of historical things that, and it's not really ethical, but it's things that, years and years ago, some library boards voted to give themselves health insurance. pay for my library back.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
think
so not
that's-
really ethical, but just
It's
whether or
in
not.
Cicero, isn't it?
Cicero is the big one that comes out, and I don't know, I think they might have rescinded
Yeah.
that finally. but-
So we have to give up the company cars.
Yeah, so, like I said,
Does Betty
a
Lord
lot
get
of
a
times
salary?
these things
Yeah.
are not designed with libraries in mind,
Yeah.
but, you know, certainly as
Because
public
we're good
bodies,
honest
we-
folks,
yeah,
so.
most of the time we are, but I can look into that and see what kind, you know, can kind of do a quick poll of directors and see
Yeah.
what other kind of ethics statements their boards look into, and we can look at that.
I guess.
But like I said, I just wanted to bring you up to speed. Frank and I are working on that. I hope to have both a policy for that covers the board and then the actual resolution to sign for
Alright.
December. So,
All right, so then we've got new business 8B, changes to job status.
So I included in your packets the letter that I sent out to exempt employees whose job classification is changing due to the changes in the FLSA, the Fair Labor Standards Act. At this particular time, even with a new president-elect, I anticipate this will go into effect, and any changes that may come to that will be after, if any changes come to that, will be after inauguration. Basically, you see the draft of the letter that I sent to all.
Oh, it's highly unlikely this is gonna
Yeah.
change, because that,
So, I think there's a lot of other things that, President-elect Trump has said he wants to do in the first 100 days. This might not rise to the top.
so, yeah.
Especially
So-
when he said he's gonna take care of the little guy.
Right, so,
That's the little guy.
this is the little guy.
It's not gonna break anybody.
Right, so, there were 5 positions, the department heads and myself remained exempt. A reader's advisor position in adult services, the teen library / school liaison position in adult services. The position that Melissa Mayberry currently holds, we are actually giving her a slight promotion and making her an assistant department head. She actually acts in that capacity now. So her position will remain exempt, and she oversees the computer assistants as well, so she does meet all those exemptions. And then the school liaison and youth services, all the other positions will be non-exempt. I've both sent out this letter as required by law, but then I've met individually in small groups with everyone.
So we did talk to them too, so I don't get.
I've been talking to them, and Chad
Okay,
can attest to that they're probably all sick to death of talking to me about this.
No?
But I started meeting with them even as interim, just to prepare people so that
Good.
this was not a surprise. Our hope really, really the idea is we want to pay people appropriately and, compensate them for the work that they do, all the hours that they work. And I've tried to emphasize with the staff that in no way is this a demotion. It has nothing at all to do with the quality of the work, because quite frankly, most of our staff are outstanding. But it is a better protection for workers, because they are actually paid for all the hours they work then. So it doesn't affect any of their benefits, how they accrue, or how they can take them. So my hope is that, the impact is minimal. There will be some changes, some cultural changes a little bit, because we've, at least in the library world, had a tendency to equate that exempt status with professional. And so I've tried to emphasize with staff that those two things really don't have anything to do with one another. Area libraries, which I also looked at, because we want to make sure that we can attract and retain quality people as well. And so I wanted to make sure that we could keep our salaries at least, competitive. Most libraries have done what we've done. They've looked at all of their positions overall, made some different changes. There's a few libraries, not very many, that raised everyone to the new minimum, which was $47,476. There's also some libraries, the Wilmette Public Library, made everyone from the director on down non-exempt. So as far as the Department of Labor is concerned, you will never get in trouble for having everyone non-exempt, because right now, their big thing is not only the salary component, but they're looking more and more at the duties. If someone from the Department of Labor comes out and they're watching people on the desk, can they tell the difference between an exempt employee's responsibilities and a non-exempt person's responsibilities. So we spend a lot of time looking at that. So those changes by law are effective December 1. Because of the pay period, for us, those will actually go into effect November 25th, just so that we can keep everyone on a pay period. So, and we're incorporating merit increases along at that same time, rather than waiting another month and doing it in January 1. It just made sense. So just to kind of bring you up to date with what was going on with that. So. More about the FLSA than I.
More to come. Yeah.
You know, it's changing all the time, and these things are never changing, and they don't come down on the side of the employer. It's always the employee. So we always want to make sure that we're, you know, we want to learn from the delays. So that was that.
The per capita grant.
I gave you the couple of pages that, the first page that I filled out.
We need a paragraph on the back, is there a couple of bullet points?
Right, and so basically it's just to have the board know that they, the trustees have to look at that. We can talk about it for a few minutes.
Do you want mine?
I got it. I'll just look up on the paper. So as I said, basically this is all that we have to fill out. We're focusing on, you know, are we meeting the needs of the community as a provider of educational programs and training opportunities? And certainly I will write all this up, but they do ask that the board at least talk about this. It can be very briefly. I did bring a copy of the newsletter, or Books and Beyond, which I think pretty clearly, as you see all my scribbles all over, well, this is this, and you know, that we do meet these standards pretty clearly. So, I mean, I can point out some of the things that I think meet this criterion if you want to comment on that. Or,
Sure.
so in terms of educational programs and training opportunities, certainly educational opportunities would be any of the program that we do for children, particularly if you think about the STEM and STEAM program, and we do a lot of math programs. Mathematics Tea Party, Art Attacks, Building a Reader, in Math Brigade, Lego Builders Math Club, all of those types of things. We do a number of art programs as well, Family Reading Night. We have programs that help parents help their children navigate the digital world as well. Story times, while they're fun, they're also very educational for young children. For teens, we have science programming for teens. We provide space for them to do studying, that kind of thing. You know, all kinds of little lab things. We really hope to be able to do a lot more of that with teens too, going into the future with hiring a new teen librarian, which, fingers crossed, we think, for hopefully third time's a charm. We've been burned a couple of times just where, you know, we've had the perfect candidate and the day before they accepted another job kind of thing. So we're fingers crossed with this last one. For adults, we do a lot of computer programming for adults, hands-on workshops, you know, librarian one-on-ones, training and, you know, how to use their phones or, you know, digital equipment.
Well, and even that one's got the digital equipment.
Right.
And the finance, some of the finance.
Some of the financial
Yeah.
stuff. So we are actually programming, we just, that made me think of that financial stuff, the reverse mortgage thing, we do contact the
Oh, did
gentleman
we?
that you
Okay,
suggested, so we
great.
do that kind of thing as well.
All right.
So I think that.
We're covering all levels.
I think we're covering all levels, if anyone else wants to comment or anything about that.
Can I,
Yeah,
are you, this is a totally selfish question, but it occurred to me, do you know if there's any chance last year, and we weren't able to come, there was a guy who did like how to dispute your property tax, and I heard that was good, and one of us was gonna try and come, and then it turned out we couldn't. I didn't know if that's something that could be offered again.
I will.
Just selfishly.
No, I think it's a really good thing, as we've talked about in previous meetings. I know Paul's brought it up a couple of times about tax rates and that kind of thing. I will look into that.
Okay, thank you.
So-
I'll give you my calendar.
Okay, so we have to make sure that we do it when Stephanie's free, got it.
No.
Yes, certainly, we will look into that for sure, because those are very, very popular programs when they happen as well. So, yeah, so I think that, you know, and if we talk about the second part of that is integrating new technologies that would foster increased resource sharing. I mean, the thing that came to mind, and Janice and right here, you know, we're trying to do a lot more with digitizing our local history and reaching out to people to, you know, working with the Warren Grove Historical Society and other organizations to provide us with some of those histories that we can digitize and get on our website and that kind of thing. So I think that, for the purposes of the state of Illinois and for our hope, our little bit of per capita grant, in my eyes, I think that we're exceeding standards certainly for that. So, if anyone else wants to say anything or whatever. If not, we kind of check it off and say, here's what
I think we're
about.
hitting it,
Okay,
so.
so if everyone's comfortable with that,
Right.
as I said, it's the first part of this, which I've already filled out, and then we've got the standards review, which I usually do with the staff, with the department heads. And then there's 2 more questions that have to do with technology that will come up, and basically that's it. And this is submitted online. It's due January 17th, I believe. So I'll probably bring the completed per capita grant to the board for final approval in December, or possibly January, because we do need reports, I think we do. But you will see it, and you'll be able to approve it or suggest any changes before I send it in. And then we'll keep all our fingers crossed for actual funds. So it's always a nice surprise. And the things that I've chosen for per capita grant expenditures, because you do have to list what you would potentially spend funds on, it would be, you can't use it for any capital improvements, and by capital improvements, the Illinois State Library defines that as anything that is attached to your building, your parking lot, or landscaping. So you can use it for staffing, you can use it for additional programming, you can use it for furniture. So we've kind of earmarked that for making improvements to the YS department, probably purchase of different furniture, shelving, that kind of thing. So that's where we're focusing that money on, should we get it, so. And that was all I had.
All right. 9, any communications?
Yes, I did have, I did make copies for everyone, because they're relatively short, but I did want to share some comments from our very pleased staff. This was at the end of October. This week we received an email commending the entire adult staff. This was from Natalia to her staff, and they're copying me as well. Commending the entire adult staff for providing great service. Quote, just a short note to tell you how helpful and welcoming your entire staff is. Praising Margie and Mark specifically for being very helpful and attentive. And then they also received a really nice card in the mail for thanking Chad for a book of librarian session. So I want to point that out. And then received a really nice note about Jess Alexander, one of her programs. I think it was just it's toddler time about. So one of the librarians had overheard moms talking about a toddler time. That they were saying that they really liked the fact that our story time was dropped in. They were also saying that they enjoyed it more than they enjoyed Skokie story times. So I guess we're doing something.
One for us. Yeah.
And we're small.
So we're smaller. We do actually get quite a few people that live in Skokie that come for, I think in particular, some of the children's
Had a
stuff.
grumpy librarian, a Skokie story hour once that I took. There's a lot of shushing going on.
Yeah, so,
I have friends who live in Spokane come here and use the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so I did want to share those with the board because it's always nice. It's gratifying and for the staff and for me as a director, and it's, you know, I'd like to share that with you guys. So,
Great.
and I know all of you appreciate how awesome the staff is, but it's always nice to hear that.
It is, all good.
So we'll put those things in, we usually put them in their personal emails as well. And I think that's all I had.
All right, then there's no public for any further public comments on non-agenda items.
There is one other thing, it's not really on the agenda, but I just wanted to hand this out. I just got this, we get this marketing, library services email, and I didn't stay away, so my apologies. And I'm not trying to convince you to support a new building. It's the first article that I thought was really interesting about reaching the elusive library non-user. So I thought, I just wanted to pass that out so you guys could take a look at that. And then, yeah, it's the first couple of pages. As we think about ways to, particularly to increase our library card percentages, you know, we're talking a lot about that, but I thought this was an interesting article and thought the board would be interested in that, so it's just kind of informational. And that's all I have.
So not exactly the same vein, but, you know, we send out these books, and so does we send out, you know, what's new at the library, what's going on, our books and beyond. So does the Park District. Would we ever consider talking to the Park District and trying to merge these sort of publications together to make both bodies a little bit more relevant?
We've started
Everybody in
talking
town?
to the Park District, and I might have mentioned it in my report, excuse me.
Well, yeah, and the
For
holidays.
the holidays thing,
Yeah.
so you know, and it's really great, we actually have another meeting of that, we're calling it a kind of community leaders meeting next week, but, we're on different
Well, I know
publishing
we are,
schedules, so
but
there's that. Some of it would be,
I don't know if we become more of a resource to the community if they get Park District and Library all in one
Right.
pamphlet.
I feel like it would be too much information.
It might be too
Somebody
much.
who
I don't
goes
know.
through them.
you know,
I don't
and it's
know.
interesting, so when I met with Jeff Wade, the Park District Executive Director, last week, whenever Courtney and I met with him about the holidays thing, that we had just found out about the potential raising minimum wage, and so we were talking about the impact that may have on, you know, each of our organizations. And, you know, one of the things he said was that, you know, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, if I have to raise minimum wage to, you know, $13 an hour by 2020, where am I gonna get that money? You know, I mean, at what point do you just, you can't ask for any more, and then what do we cut? And I know we've talked about other ways of raising some funds and that kind of thing, but for the Park District, and Jeff was completely honest, he says, you know, we pass that on to the residents because we charge fees. And
Yeah.
so some of that is just kind of a different focus too.
Yeah.
We don't charge fees for any of our programs and stuff like that, so there might be some confusion with some of that. But that's not to say that there might not come a time that.
I'm just thinking of
something
different
like that.
ways to consolidate.
Absolutely.
They're spending the postage, we're spending the
Right.
postage. It's
Before
just,
Deborah-
it's the same
Before Deborah
audience.
left, she had had a couple meetings also with the Park District. And basically what you're saying is what came out, we're in different schedules,
Right.
they charge, we don't.
Right.
Yeah,
The only thing that I can remember on the more positive end of it was something about providing flyers to each other.
Right, I think, you know,
Yeah.
kind of that promotion, and, you know, I think that in and of itself isn't a bad thing to try to look into, at least at a minimum, so,
So
you
we
know.
depend upon our newsletter, we don't really do flyers of individual things too often.
So,
And they too, I don't see flyers from the library at all. And
Yeah.
from Park District.
I mean,
You just get their book.
for both of our organizations, really, I mean, our newsletters are really our primary way of getting the word out
Right.
there to the
And
residents.
theirs is too.
Yeah, so, you know, I think that it's kind of, I don't want to say a new day, I mean, but it's kind of cliche, but, you know, those lines are becoming less rigid maybe than they
Yeah.
used to be, and particularly as we look at, and we've talked about this a lot, you know, the money is finite. And so, you know, the Park District has some wiggle room in that they can raise fees, but at some point that you have diminishing returns on that as well. But, you know,
oh, if
do
the
we?
government keeps upping our overhead costs.
Right, I mean, if there's
We have
things that
to
I'm
look at
legally
different
obligated
things.
to do,
Yeah,
then what is it that I have to, you know, where do I look at cutting, where do I look at making these partnerships, where do I,
yeah.
you know, it's just the whole idea, like, if we've talked about in the past, too, reaching out more to private organizations, which, you know, at least historically, libraries haven't really done that, and we're doing a lot of that now, and I think that that will continue because, you know, where else are we gonna get the money, so. And I think that boards, just in general, and libraries just in general, are more open to that kind of idea, so. But, you know, all those, you know, at this point, really, over the next few years, to me, everything's on the table. I mean, at least talk about these things. So both here and, you know, as we meet with other government leaders. So
Any more?
I have nothing else.
All right,
You want to go into executive session and do you want me to leave?
we want, 5 minutes, 10
Okay.
minutes is fine. Because we would do the actual review in the next
Yeah,
meeting,
that's
correct?
fine.
So-
That's the way that it's on the schedule. So.
All right, so we'll go into executive session for a short while. Come back in 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll just be sitting
We'll
here,
go
so
for it
somebody
outside. Yeah,
and you'll do all the
yes,
minutes and the
yeah, we can
the
do
adjourning
those.
and all of that.
So then I need a motion to go into executive session,
Move to go into executive session.
and a second.
Second it.
Questions, concerns, anything? Then none, to call the roll.
Gonzalez,
Here,
Gray,
you can go.
yeah, oh, sorry.
Say, I just wasn't answering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes or no.
Oh, I think.
Albers?
Yes.
Berg, Calamari.
Yes.
And then-
Okay, motion carries at 7:58, so let's clear the room. Yeah, so we discussed your review, we'll cover it. in the December meeting. There's no further board business, but if you
Okay.
have,
Just one other thing, that if you haven't seen, we now have these really nice bags for purchase.
I bought one.
And, they're $7.50 and they have a zipper on the top and they're really nice, but I wanted to bring them down to show you
Very
the way.
thick.
Yeah, it's really
and where
durable.
do you buy those at?
So you can buy this at the
Where's our
circulation
store?
desk.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's a sign up there that shows that we've got a nice display, but I did want to bring it down and show
And
you.
how much do you make on each one?
We're making, I think $2 actually.
Oh, cute.
It's good.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but it's really nice, because
Isn't it
it comes with a
cute?
zipper. Now, we also bought some with a different graphic that we're allowing people to check out, but they have to return them, but these you can keep, and it has a different graphic, but they turn out really nice and they're really durable, but I just wanted to show everyone, because I think it turned out really well.
Yes.
So that was all.
All right. Anything further?
Coach.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a Louis Vuitton.
We would, yeah, so we
You
have to
can-
sell it for a little bit more than $7.50.
Well, 750 could be 750.
Yeah, that's true. That could be our other revenue stream.
Chinese knockoff.
Exactly.
All right, nothing further, how about a motion to adjourn?
I'm going to adjourn.
In a second,
Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
We have a